and welcome back to my channel. I'm Teresa. Thank you for joining me here today. If you're new, thank you for popping along, and if you've been here before, as always, thank you for coming back. Today I'm going to be gel printing again. I know that a lot of you really enjoy the gel printing videos that I do, and today we're doing some fun, whimsical little prints using masks and doodles just to add some more interest to your printing. I've turned all of these into little gift cards. But as always, you can use your prints in whatever fashion you want. You know, you can pop them in art journals, you can do ATCs, you know, be creative, do what suits you best. These little cards are perfect for popping in with other gifts that you're sending someone. Maybe you're sending some artist trading cards and you want to put a little note card in. You know, you could use them even as a gift tag on a larger present. But I'll just show you briefly what we're going to be doing today. We're doing some fish designs. Really fun little happy fish, and I've done some little whimsical houses as well. So several different types of finished card there. Really simple technique to show you. I'll pop these away, get my gel plate out, and I'll be back to show you how they were made. Today I'm working on my 7 by 5 inch gel plate. This is a Gelly Arts gel printing plate. I'm working on a smaller scale, so this is absolutely perfect for what I'm doing today. The paints that I've chosen are the DecoArt Media Fluid Acrylics. I haven't used these for a while. I used to use these all the time on my gel plate, but more recently I've been using the Americana range. And I've chosen sort of 2 sets of 3 to work with. I've got Blue Green Light, Phthalo Turquoise and Cobalt Teal Hue, but those 3 colours go really quite nicely together. And the other set of 3 that I've got are more a primary set. I've got Primary Cyan, Quinacridone Red and Hansa Yellow Light. Now, so you can use whatever paints that you have. It really doesn't make much difference. I saw these sitting on the shelf and I thought, you know, I haven't used these ones for a long time. Let's get them out and use them. I've got my small brayer today. This is the smaller of the Ranger brayers. It's about 2.5, 3 inches. Just because I'm working on a smaller size plate. I've got a couple of things for mark making. This one here, this is a particular favourite of mine, which is just a kitchen roll cardboard tube with some string wrapped around it. And when you roll it over the plate, it creates like a wavy line effect, and that's really nice. And if I think on, I'll link up in the corner to a video where I've used various household items just for mark making. So I've got that. I've also got some foam stamps, just sort of random design foam stamps. You can make your own foam stamps. You can use some bubble wrap. You can use whatever you want for making some marks in your paint in the background here. I've also created a frame today because I want to work on some squares of card. Now I've cut out some 4-inch squares of card. And when I print on these, I want them to have a little white border around the edge. I know that I could trim them and map them onto something else, but I just thought it would be nice just to have the border actually on the piece of cardstock. So I've just got this piece of paper. This is just some, I think, mixed media paper out of a pad. And I have die cut a 3.5 inch square out of it. Now, if you haven't got a die cutting machine, just measure out a square, cut it out with a knife and a ruler. And as you can see, I've marked where my 4-inch piece of cardstock's going to go, just so that when I come to make my print, I can line that up with the guidelines on there, and I should get an even border all the way around the edge. I mean, this cardstock is the Crafter's Companion stamping card. It's just a smooth white card, 300 GSM. It's really nice for printing on, but again, any smooth white card will do. Printer paper will do. You know, I get asked a lot, what do you use? Use what you've got. Try it. See what happens. You know, as long as you're not using a glossy cardstock, which will have a tendency to stick to your plate, try what you've got. You don't have to use the same as what I'm using or what somebody else is using. It's all about experimenting. If you've got some old book pages or some brown paper or tissue paper, you know, try it on whatever you've got. The only other things really that I've got here is just some printer copier paper for rolling the excess paint off my brayer. Again, people go, why are you wasting your paint on a piece of scrap paper? Well, that piece of scrap paper goes in the drawer and might be the basis for a new print. It might get used for collage. Nothing's ever wasted. So, as you saw from the samples at the beginning, today I've been using some masks to create outlines for us to add detail with doodles. And I sat down with my little sketchbook and tried to decide what I wanted to do. And I thought I wanted to do something with fish, this is why I've got the blue and green combination of paints there. So I just came up with a couple of ideas for sort of basic designs for fish. And the other thing I thought would be nice would be some just fun little houses. So drew out some basic simple shapes for houses, and those I'm going to be using with these primary colours here. So once I'd decided on some basic ideas, I have cut out some masks just from the offcuts of this cardstock actually that I'm going to be printing on today. So I've drawn out and cut out a few basic house shapes, like so. And I've drawn and cut out some fish as well. So just a few different fish designs there. So they don't have to be perfect. These are supposed to be fun and whimsical, and the doodling's going to add in the extra little bits of detail. So go for simple shapes. You could go for a simple floral shape, maybe like the shape of a vase or a cup. Whatever you want, really. I mean, just random shapes, something simple. Have a little look around for some ideas, things that you might like to do, and just go from there. So to begin with, we're going to be popping some paint down on our plate. So just move these out of the way for now. And I'm going to begin with the set with the blues and the greens. I'm going to do some fishy prints first. So I'm going to add in a bit of paint to my plate. Don't need a lot. And I'm going to take my brayer and just brayer that out evenly over the surface. And then just rolling the excess paint off onto this spare paper. So next I'm going to make some marks on here. So I'm going to begin by taking my roll of card and just roll those over. I'm going to go over a second time. And I'm going to add some dotty marks on here as well. Just going to stamp off the excess paint onto my scrap of paper here, just to sort of cleaning my stamp off in between. And I'm quite happy with that. So now it's time to decide where I'm going to frame my design. And it's quite nice just to take a moment or two just to decide where might be the best to do this. I quite like that there. So I'm going to pop my frame down in place there. And take a couple of the fish masks that I've created. I'm going to pop one there. And I'm going to place one there. I'm going to get my piece of cardstock that's been cut to size and just carefully just lining it up so that it's as square as I can get it. And then just rub it down to transfer that print. And that's created our print, and we've got that nice silhouette of those fish where we can put the details in. So now I'm going to carefully lift my little templates. Now keep these masks, we can reuse those. The paint that's on them will dry. And I'm going to carefully lift that off. Again, keep that, we will reuse that. And I'm going to add a thin amount of paint over that area that I've just took my print off. I'm going to pop my frame back down in place. I can see where it was. There is the outline of where it was originally still on there. And I'm going to pull just a second print off here, just to see what detail we can pull up. And there we have a second print, and that's really nice how you get that effect of the outline of the fish. And again, we can come in and add some detail onto that one as well. Now you can choose to clean your plate off at this point if you want to. You can choose to add a layer of paint over it and pull a print. I think I am going to just do that. I think I'm going to add a bit of this green paint here. Just roll that over the surface. And I'm going to use this piece of paper that I've got here. And just pull a print off there, and I can use that for some future project. So that's just fetched all of that off. We've got that nice sort of dotty pattern underneath. And that won't go to waste. That'll be the start of a new print. So I'm going to do another couple of fish prints. So again, working with the colours that I've got.
I got an ache inside of me. It's a deep hole where I bleed. Oh, can I seal it? Like an ocean without land, not a single grain of sand. I'm drifting on it, so cold yet warm. When you hold me, when you close, I know
And I'm going to clean this plate away, and I'll come back and show you how we can finish these prints off with some doodling. Now, there are lots of pens that you can use for doodling. And the only thing to remember is really you need it to be something that's going to work not only on your cardstock, but possibly over the top of your paint. So if you're unsure, just try it on a scrap of paper that's got some paint on and see. Some pens may not settle right on top of the acrylic paint, you know, but that's trial and error. Find out what works for you. And then the only other thing to sort of think about is the thickness of the pens. Now, I tend to use a lot of fine liner type pens. One of my go-to brands are these Unipin fine liners. They're waterproof, fade proof, come in a range of sizes. The Pigma Microns by Sakura, very similar product. So, you know, there's something like that you can use. Sharpie do a fine point, very similar. And you could use that. It's a good permanent marker. I've got a couple of Tombow pens here. This brush pen, it's sort of like a plastic firm brush tip on it. So you could use something like that. This, another Tombow pen, it's got like a fine tip on one end and a slightly thicker tip on the other. That's the Mono Twin. There's always things like Posca pens. They come in a range of thicknesses. This is quite a finish one. This is the 1M. They also do a 1MR, which is even thinner than that. And you might want something in white to add detail over the painted areas. My favourite is the Uniball Signo Broad gel pen. So this is your sort of typical rollerball gel pen. But again, there's things like the Posca pens, again, in a different range of nib sizes. And all you want to do really is think about some sort of simple ways to add designs and patterns, just to sort of add some extra detail. So I'm going to use my Sharpie fine liner here, and just going to begin. Let me just see if I can zoom in slightly. I'm just going to add some simple details and a little bit of outlining to my silhouetted areas of my fish. Now, I quite like doing a double border because that way you don't need to be too neat, and it kind of makes it look deliberate that you've got wobbles in your outline. Now, the other thing that you can do, and I also think is quite nice, is just to frame the edge of this printed area. Again, I'm just going to use like a double border so it disguises any wobbles and makes them look like they should be there. And I hope you can see that there are just a few simple lines really just adds to the whimsical nature of this, and that's pretty much done. So I'm going to continue adding some doodles. I'm also going to add some detail onto these secondary prints as well. I might be using the white pen as well as the black, but I'll just speed up through this process, obviously, because it's quite a repetitive process.
Got an ache inside of me. It's a deep hole where I bleed. Oh, can I seal it? You're like an ocean without land, not a single grain of sand. I'm drifting on it. So cold yet warm. When you hold me, when you close, I know I'm a lost case, I'm a mess. But everything feels a little bit lighter with you. Something's letting me heal. You're making it brighter right through the gray.
My ace boom boom, no flex, no. I won't gas you up like petrol.
And here's my finished prints, as it were. Now all that remains for me to do now is to mount these onto some card blanks, maybe add a little sentiment. As you see, I didn't do anything with this one. There's not enough there, really. I know I could have just drawn the houses on top, but I thought, no, I'll discard that. I'll use that another time. I'm not overly fond with this. I feel that it really needed a little bit more definition, so I'm not actually going to pop that on a card for now. I'll maybe come back to that at some point and add a bit of detail in with a darker pen. But happy with how this one's turned out. There's enough interest in the background there on that second print, and just adding that bit of detail with the white was really, really nice. Also, as I say, very happy with these two, these sort of fun, whimsical fish. Again, this one, I've managed to add enough detail in with the white there. it is a little bit less distinct than the others, shall we say, but that's just the nature of the printing. But I do like that with the white detail on. And obviously our two whimsical first prints that we've got here with the houses, very, very nice. So as I say, I'm going to get these onto some cards, possibly stick some little word stickers on as well, and I'll be back. But the other thing just to remember is the masks that we used. Now they end up with these fun bits of prints on the back of them. Now either you keep these and keep reusing them, or I thought it might be quite fun to actually use those on another piece. You can collage them, you know, there's the possibility that I could take this background here that didn't really work too well for me, and I could actually collage these houses on. So I think I might actually do that. I'm unsure as yet. Maybe should I just collage these fish on top of here? I think I might actually just do that as well and add a little detail on. But as I say, I'll complete these cards and come back and show you what they look like when they're finished. And here are the finished cards. And now I've just made some coloured card blanks. This is some Hunky Dory coloured card, and I've just made these card blanks 4.5 inches square, so that we've got a nice coloured border showing around our 4-inch prints. Added a couple of Tim Holtz Chit Chat stickers just to finish them off. So here's our first one, really like that one. And that was the second print that we did from that design. Again, just added a sentiment to the middle and that's finished. Here was our little sausage-shaped fishes. Again, sticker up in the corner there. And onto the houses. Again, you know, I've just matted these all onto a coloured card blank and added a sticker just to finish them off. And these are going to make the perfect little gift cards. Pop them in with sort of artist trading cards, or if you just want to send a little message to somebody. Really quick and easy card to make. Now, the two prints that I wasn't happy with, I did end up collaging on my masks. So these I've just glued them on and drawn around them with a black pen and added the detail with the white. And actually really happy that I haven't wasted either the masks that I used or those two prints that I wasn't overly fond of. So there's just an idea for a couple of extras as well for you. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please leave me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Please do check out the playlist. I'll pop it in the end card of all the gel printing videos that I've done. Lots of ideas for any of you that like using your gel plates, want to try out different mediums, different techniques. Lots and lots of ideas there for you. But for now, that's all. Bye.
Got an ache inside of me. It's a deep hole where I bleed. Oh, can I see you live?